y'all know who I am. I've been hearing some wonderful things about y'all from your teacher, Mrs. Rodgers. From what Miss Rodgers told me is that y'all learning about the Civil War, and that on Friday y'all was talking about the Underground Railroad. Well, I decided that I would come and talk with you for myself and give you some history about those things that I endured back in the late mid-1800s. First of all, I want to say that my birth name is Armanita Harriet Ross. My family called me Harriet, so Harriet kind of stuck with me over the years. Now, back in those days, children wasn't born in hospitals. So according to what my mama and my papa told me, I was born around 1820. I was born a slave. Back in those days here in Georgia, there were plantations. And your teacher told me you've been studying about the most important crop. What crop was that?
Cotton.
Cotton. And I noticed that Miss Rodgers left this here, and she told me that you all had felt the different material and see what cotton comes from. And so one of them is denim. That's why I picked out a denim dress to wear for you. Do you like it?
Yes.
Thank you. It is made from what?
Cotton.
Oh, y'all are smart, just like Miss Rodgers said. Now, let me give you a little history about my life. As I said earlier, I was born around 1820 into slavery. What that meant was that we had slave owners that was over us. Now, when you're born on a plantation, you don't belong to your mama or your papa. You belong to the slave owner. So, I was passed from plantation to plantation over the years. But at the age of 12, they decided that I was old enough to do field work. So I was made to go into the fields and pick cotton. Our days were very long. Started like this. Real easy to remember. When the sun goes up, and it ends what? When the sun goes down. That was a whole day's work. Now, right about the time one day I was in the field and I was picking cotton, minding my own business, because my mama showed me how to do it real good so I wouldn't get in trouble with the slave owner. But I was picking the cotton one day in the field, and all of a sudden another slave made the slave owner mad. He was so upset. He picked up this metal iron and threw it at the slave. But the slave ducked and it hit me in my head real hard. And ever since I had that head injury with that metal iron, I started having like seizures, epileptic seizures, and I started having real bad headaches. But I kind of look at it as a blessing, because after I start having the headaches, when I would lay down to go to sleep, I would see visions of freedom. So I just took it, smart lady as I am, that that's a sign that I should go to freedom. So that's what I started doing. Now, around in my late teens, early 20s, I met the love of my life. He was a free black man. His name was John Tubman. So when we got married, my name went from Ross to what?
Tubman.
So that's how I'm Harriet Tubman. We got married in 1844. Well, for 5 years, my husband would tell me about being free. And for 5 years, I dreamed about being free. So one day in 1849, I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. Now, you got to understand, I talked to Miss Rodgers, and she told me that y'all have a fast way of talking to each other. She said it's just more than just talking with the mouth. She explained to me that you can also call each other on this little bitty device called a cell phone. Well, what I did back in those days, we didn't have any messages that would tell us what to do from one to the other. So what we had to do was send messages out through our songs on what was going on. Now, back in that day, there was a field, there was a man named Peg Leg Joe. If I said Peg Leg Joe, can you guess why I called him Peg Leg Joe? What do you think was going on with Joe? Your name, what's your name?
Sylvia.
What was going on with Peg Leg Joe? What you think?
He had a peg on my leg.
He did. Excuse me, we have some visitors. Y'all may come up front and have a seat right here for Mrs. Tubman. So glad to see you and so nice to meet you. Right here, okay? Thank you so much and welcome. Okay, as I was saying, I had dreamed about being free, and we had to get the message out some kind of way. So the slaves came up with a plan. See, I know Miss Rodgers had told you about after Nat Turner had did that rebellion. The white man didn't want the black people in the church talking and gathering together. And they would sit there and listen to the sermons and make sure they were not encouraging nobody the wrong way. But we were smart slaves. You know what we did? We said, we're going to sing songs and we're going to have messages hidden in the songs. Because the slave owners thought that a slave that sang is a happy slave. And they feel like if we were happy, we were trying to run away. But they didn't know that we had hidden messages. Now this man named Peg Leg Joe, he would go around, he was a white man, he would go around from plantation to plantation doing hard work. But what the white people didn't know is that Peg Leg Joe would come to the plantation and help the blacks escape. Here was this song, follow, let me see, help me. Follow the
North.
It started with a D. Follow, I know, you know the head injury. Follow the drinking gourd.
Yeah.
Can anyone tell me what the drinking gourd is? What's the drinking gourd? Can you tell me? Well, it is a constellations in the sky, shaped like a water pail, like a water spigot. And the North Star is what the slaves would follow to freedom. It would lead them north. Old Peg Leg Joe would come around the slaves and he would say, follow the drinking gourd. And the slaves were like, okay, that's a message. And he would say, follow the drinking gourd, 'cause the old man is a-coming to taking you to freedom. Follow the drinking gourd. And we would go, that's a hit. So we couldn't act too excited around the slave owners because they would get caught on. So we would just sit there and we would pick our cotton. Follow the drinking gourd. And if you wanted to leave, you said what? Follow the drinking gourd, 'cause the old man is a-coming to take us to freedom. Follow the drinking gourd. And when he would come through, the slaves would know if you were brave enough that night to try, meet him at a certain location, and you will follow the North Star into freedom. That's when I got my idea. I said, Peg Leg Joe can give them messages, then so can I. I became what you know as a conductor. Now, how many of you know that I didn't really drive a train? The Underground Railroad was not about a train. It was a series of planned stops along the path to help one person get from one place to another. Now, In 1849, I planned to escape. And so I was trying to let the slaves know. And one thing about good slave singing in the fields, you can start off singing in one plantation, and your voice will carry to the other plantation, and that voice will carry to the other plantation. And so that's how they knew what was going on. Now, when the slaves on the plantation heard Harriet, when I was saying wade in the water, they will get happy, huh?
Yes.
Sing it.
Yeah.
All right. So I will be standing around in the field, and I will break out. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Will y'all hear me saying that?
Yeah.
Wade in the water. We're gonna wade. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. What's gonna happen?
God's gonna trouble the water.
Now let me tell you something. Let me tell you a secret. Y'all did a good job. Whoa! Miss Rodgers told me things about y'all. She did it true. Now listen. We stayed near the water and we escaped at night. Why? Why do you think we stayed near the water? Yes, sir.
Because the water is dark at night.
The water's dark at night? Okay. Yes, young lady.
Because if they brought dogs out to help, then the dogs can't stay out in water.
You're right. The water. Good job. The water. Both of y'all did a wonderful job. Thank you. The water would kind of drench away our scent, and the dogs couldn't find us. And one more reason. If you walk in the water, you don't see my footsteps. You can't see my footsteps in the water. Because the water have a footstep. So if you're hunting for us, you couldn't find which way we went. Yes?
Yeah.
So we would sing way, I would sing wade in the water. Everybody would join in and sing with me. And there's another song I used to sing to give the people in the plantation a clue that we leave it. One of the songs that we sung, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, coming for to taking me home. Now, we weren't talking about home. We were talking about going north home, taking us to freedom. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to taking me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to taking me home. Just hearing that song again reminds me so much of those many times. And I'm going to tell y'all a secret. John and I ran away in 1849 to freedom. I left Maryland, escaped all the way to Philadelphia. That was the first state where freedom was for African Americans. And I thought that when I got free, I thought they would feel real good and I would be real happy. So when I reached Philadelphia, the first thing I did, I touched the soil. I was like, free soil. Free. I'm free. I was happy. But on the other hand, I was sad. Because it was real hard for me to be happy because I'm free. But my family wasn't free. I'm free. I don't have to get hit no more. I'm free. I don't have to be kicked no more. I'm free. No more in the cottons from sun up to sun down. I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. But my mom, my daddy, my sister, my nieces and nephews, they wasn't free. You know what? That's when I thought for myself, you know what, John? My husband, you know John. I said, John, it feels good being free for me and maybe for you, but it's not all the way good because my mommy and my daddy and my friends are not free. I'm going back to get them. Everybody thought I was crazy. But it was important to Mrs. Tubman. It was important to me that everybody felt what I felt. So what do you think I did?
Went back.
I went back. I went back and forth to north and south for 19 times. And I never got caught. Can I get a hand clap for that? In those 19 times that I went back and forth to the north and to the south, do you know I rescued over 300 slaves and all of us reached there safely?
Yep.
All 19 times we did. I wasn't finished. Oh, now see, Miss Rodgers said she checked the textbook. And y'all already know I know your teacher because she's always calling on me, talking about y'all, whatever. Don't tell I said that. And she's always talking about her students and this, and her students have to go to the next level, and her students have to do this. I'm like, really? Listen, between us, and I won't tell Miss Rodgers, aren't y'all sick of her trying to take y'all to the next level?
Yeah. No.
What? Okay, so this is what. So she checked the textbook and she said, Harriet Tubman, I checked the textbook and it gave very little history about you. So I said, I can fix that because I know you want your students to go to the next level and all. So let me give you a little background. Yes, the textbook will tell you that I went back and forth north and south 19 times. Yes, the textbook will tell you that I helped free over 300 slaves. But let me tell you something else. I also played a very integral role, a very important role in John Brown's Harper's Ferry. He had a raid on Harper's Ferry. I helped him do that. I also was a spy for the Union soldiers because I knew the South. So of course I would come down and spy and tell them what certain supplies was and where the big troops were, and I'd tell them, and then they knew what to do. I also helped a colonel named James Montgomery. He blocked off the supplies for the South at the Mississippi River. Because see, anybody know you can't do nothing without no resources. So if I tied up the guns, and tied up the food, and tied up your rations and everything, your army gonna starve. I had something to do with that. I'm telling you something else. I had something to do with it. You might not read and take book. I never learned how to read and write, but I cared something about learning how to read and write. After the Civil War, I opened up a school in South Carolina for free black men so they could learn how to get the education. I didn't get my education, but I think education is important. So I did that. Oh, I'll tell you something else I did. Even though I couldn't read or write, I had a friend that could. And we wrote a book about my life called The Scenes in the Life of Harriet Tubman. Miss Rodgers told me she hadn't got that book yet, but I told her she better get that book. That's what she gonna do.
Get the book.
She gonna get that book. Another thing that I did, I had a real good friend named Susan B. Anthony. She was about women's suffrage. She was about women's rights. She and I was, I think the term y'all use, homie. So she was my homie, and we got together and we would get together and talk about women's rights and women's being set free. Here's something else I did. A lot of people don't know this, but y'all Miss Rodgers class, and you gotta go to the next level. I also opened up a children's home, old people home for the elderly, for African Americans. In which they was taken care of when they were old and couldn't take care of themselves. In 1908, I opened it up, yes I did. And in 1911, I moved in. Yes I did. So I was building a place for other folks, but in the end, I need to have it. And in 1913, I laid my head to rest. My work on this side was over. But I tell you what, my funeral, let me tell you about my funeral. It was a military funeral. I got awards and the soldiers marched. It touched me that they awarded me with the flag and all kind of awards on my coffin. I got to see soldiers cry because little old Harriet had moved on. You're studying about a period that may change the history of the United States. Because had not the Civil War been fought and had not the North won, it would be a totally different situation here in the South. Now, Miss Rodgers told me that now, at the beginning of the year, she passed out books. And that black, white, whatever, everybody get their own book. You get your book, this your book, this your book. How long you get to keep it? How long I get to keep a book?
A year.
Till the school year over with.
Yes.
A book. This book, in any book you get in school, there's knowledge in there. So can't nobody take it from you?
No.
You don't get beat because you're reading it?
No.
What?
I hope not.
So let me see. So y'all get books. You get to read the books. You get to keep the books, and you get to learn from the books. That makes me feel good because that's what this fight was all about. Regardless of your color, regardless of what, you got the right to read, to write, to learn, to make a difference. Now, I need to know who in this room today is dedicated to make a difference in this world. Raise your hand. You're going to make a difference. Say, I'm going to learn what's in these books. Say, I'm going to learn what's in these books. I'm going to apply what's in these books.
I'm going to apply what's in these books.
Y'all make me so happy. The struggle was worth it. If you're learning, if you're reading, it was worth it. I love y'all. Tell Ms. Rodgers I like meeting you. Bye. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Bye-bye. As I leave, will you sing Wade in the Water for me? Wade in the water. Nice to meet you, sir.